Yo, what's good? We're back making content, making false promises about keeping up making content, but most importantly, making beats. You know what I'm saying? Whilst I am here, we're going to be doing that Bryson Tiller Trap Soul vibes, heavy synth basses, about 90 to 100 BPM vocal chops, hopefully though, because I'm not sure. I've been having that much luck looking for them. That reduced sample rate, that underwater effect on everything. Overall, just trying to make those ambient soundscapes, you know what I'm saying? Alright, so I'm here on Who Sampled to have a quick look at Bryson Tiller, a couple of like sort of see what he's been sampling. I find most of his stuff is just like a straight rip. For example, I'm like, damn, so well put together. Where do you find that vocal chop? Then you realize it's the whole song, which is cool, you know, respect, because you still got to flip it in a non-corny way. Also, what's the people's thoughts on even who sampled? Because I don't even think sample snitching's a thing. But a bit more up to date, I guess, is like the anniversary of Trap Soul. I really like this Timeless Interlude Part 2, and I think it's something I could make a sample that sounds similar to this Mint Condition track and then flip that and make it into a Bryson song.
Who can I revisit? No time specific, just when shit was bliss. Now look at this. Then we took this picking like 21-6 when shit was different back when we was hitting platinum, just not getting back from him.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. I think it's like it sounds about 100 BPM. Yeah, so I think I'm going to aim for something like that, but we're going to go for that still Trap Soul 2016, 2015 vibe. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. I said I wanted about 90 to 100 BPM. I made a quick guitar loop using some nice chords, if I do say so for myself. Restrung the whole bloody acoustic guitar for it, didn't I? Anyway, so here's that loop. As I was playing the guitar part, I was already thinking of vocal melodies, and so quickly just laid down a short vocal melody and layered another one on top. As I'm not the best singer, I just put some auto-tune and some effects on there already, and then moved on to some keys. After the keys, I decided to record another guitar layer. The first one was recorded by plugging my electroacoustic into my interface, but this time I decided to just record acoustic sound with my microphone and let the other layers play through my speakers. So there's probably a bit of like bleed, whatever you want to call it, into that recording, and then that obviously adds a little bit of depth, a little bit of texture. Lately, when I've been building my samples, I've been really liking putting in just like a, you know, keys run, either up or down. Then what I wanted to do was have another whirly or stage 73 sound, but with not the full chords. So this is just the chord triads. Another big feature of especially the Bryson Tiller tracks is like the ear candy type sounds, those glittery synths or chimes that come in, you know, bits that just kind of are just floating around in the space, making it a bit more ambient. Basically what I did is run my guitar through Guitar Rig 6 onto one of the experimental settings, and it creates these really nice shimmery one shots. And that was the last bit of my sample for the time being. Then I was going to flip this into something a bit more dark, ready for Tiller, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, here's the full sample before I flipped it some more. Then I did try slicing it and making some chops, and they sounded okay, but I decided actually, you know what, I'm just going to reverse it. And the only thing I took out was the last two chords, because I didn't like suspended chord resolving down, half step. I just didn't really like that sound. It sounded a bit too corny. And all I did was replace it with the first chord again. You'll notice as well, at each part of the sample, I've been putting the effects processing of each little bit on the screen. If you want me to go in more detail about that in the future, let me know. Now that we've flipped the sample, it's time to think about the beat. Bought this bass from Serum, the Blue Dream pack, I think it's called. So now that we've got the bass lined up with the sample, it's time to think about adding the rest of the drum pattern. The kick and the snare are the main places to start with. I already know the snares is going to be hitting on that 2 and a 4. The kick drum pattern, I knew I wanted to be really spacious, and then when I wanted to bring more energy to the track later on, I would add a load of kicks. The hi-hats now are really going to lock in that bounce. Two big tips for the hi-hats I would give: always play with the velocities. You want them kind of ghosting in and out, like dancing in and out and popping in and out of the beat. And when you've got your full mix playing together, that becomes much more noticeable. Nearly everyone's hi-hats are about the 3 milliseconds pushed out to the right. So what you do is, in your channel rack where you put your sample, loaded your sample into the sequencer, sorry, you can go into the settings and shift. I usually put it about 5 milliseconds. So we have the 2-step based pattern with all our rolls and accents going crazy. When we're speaking of energy of the track, you want to have some parts where the hi-hat pattern is not always the same. So I like to put in accenting hats along with the main pattern to figure out where I want them to be. And then when I'm arranging the pattern, I'll cut out that 2-step pattern and just be left with the accents and the open hats. So this is how we build that part up. As I was saying earlier, big feature of those Bryson beats is that ear candy. As I was starting to piece together the track a bit more, I realized I wanted an 808 in here somewhere. Now that I had my A section, B section with the 808, I was like, okay, I want a sort of mid-section bridge, whatever you want to call it, to build up into like the crescendo.
What did he say?
Afterwards, I did this by dropping out all the instruments and then applying a low pass filter, high cut filter, whatever you want to call it. That was the last major writing and mixing thing I needed to do to the beat. Lastly, you can see I arranged it out. All I did was go back and cut out and arranged all of the patterns. As you can see here, there's a lot of different cuts and slices, both through the bass pattern, the snares, the kicks, all that kind of thing. And here's the full beat.
Baby bitches out there that I really wanna sex up. They'll probably only let me fuck cause I'm next up. Got me feeling like a nigga now, yes sir. Running through and looking for a down bitch. It's like looking for them hitters on SoundClick. Hoping someone else ain't already killed it. Wait up for real, you exclusive, I found it. Baby say it's true, I don't wanna have to wait on you. These are things I gotta say to you. Make me feel irreplaceable, baby, cause I can't call it. You fuck with other niggas, I won't even bother. Young Papa, tell them who taught you. Let me put my stamp on it, let me cry about them other niggas out the picture. I say fuck them other niggas, won't you say it with me? Hey. My homeboy left the crib, tell me baby you should stay with me. For as long as I'm here, baby, that's okay with me. Shit. For as long as you want, baby, that's okay with me. For as long as you want, baby, that's okay with me. How does it sound? Fuck it, girl, come spend the night with me. Say whatever, just don't lie to me. Stepping out, no, I want you on the side of me. Mama, you could come work full time with me. Roll through in the beam and get inside till the wheels fall off. That's how long you can ride with me, yeah, that's worth it. Stephen Garrett, come ride with me. Yeah. Whoa, say it one more time for you. These are things I gotta say to you.